For months, the Russian offensive has been focused on Donetsk in eastern Ukraine in its bid to fully seize the region. The fighting in Bakhmut, which has been the main focus of the bloody fighting, has seen a significant reduction as Russian troops move in and out of the area. But shelling has continued, Ukrainian officials said. Wagner's mercenary units are still being replaced by regular Russian troops. In an update on what was happening on the front, Ukraine's deputy defense minister said the southwestern outskirts of Bakhmut remained in the control of Ukrainian defense forces. Posting on Telegram, Hanna Malier said Ukraine also controls entrances to the embattled town in the east of the country. He dismissed reports that the area had become calmed down, saying that the Russians changed their weapons and artillery fire had increased, with today's shelling worth the heaviest of fighting for Bakhmut. Video footage shows gunners from the 92nd Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, named after Kosh Ataman Ivan Sirk, destroying 2 self-propelled artillery installations, a TOR anti-aircraft missile system, 7 trucks, an ammunition depot, 12 sites, and a multipurpose armored invader tractor. Steal easily towards Svativskyi. However, as the press center of the State Border Service of Ukraine announced tonight on its media sources, after releasing the relevant video, this happened in recent days. To this end, the DPSU unmanned aerial vehicle operator made 188 sorties, looking for the targets of the Russian invaders and adjusting artillery fire on them. In another video, Volyn Artillery Brigade of the Territorial Defense of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroys a Russian invader tank in a firing position in a forest with well-targeted fire from an Italian 155mm FA-70 howitzer, which was handed over to Ukraine by the Baltic states. Operational ZSU and People's Deputy and Frontline volunteer Yuri Mesygin announced this on their page on the social network Twitter, publishing a related video recorded by the same unmanned aerial vehicle. A spokesman for the Ukrainian military's Eastern Group, Serhii Cherevatyi, said Wednesday there had only been 2 or 3 clashes in the area over the past 2 days. But he said the Russians covered their troop rotation with artillery fire, and Ukrainian positions had been shelled 343 times as of Wednesday. In turn, Ukrainian fire killed 78 Russians and destroyed various weapons and ammunition depots, he said. A soldier in the Bakhmut area, Yuri Sairotyuk of the 5th Separate Assault Brigade, said an intense thunderstorm had halted the airstrikes, but the enemy's artillery was working actively, as were mortars and rockets. Sairotyuk said Russian troops tried to counterattack in recent days, but were unsuccessful. Other video footage also shows K2 Groot fighters of the 54th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroying 2 120mm mortars from the Russian invaders and setting their fuel and lubricants on fire. The unit's press service reported on this on its own Telegram channel, publishing related videos recorded by unmanned aerial vehicles, including kamikaze drones. Initially, a barrage of ammunition flew into a single mortar. Since there was nothing left in the K2, the second mortar was destroyed by classic artillery fire while adjusting fire with aerial reconnaissance. Meanwhile, the 5th Separate Assault Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, using an anti-tank missile system, destroyed a Russian invader tank in firing position in the field. In turn, the Strategic Communications Department of the Armed Forces of Ukraine showed a video, also recorded by UAVs, in which fighters from the 2nd Assault Battalion of the 3rd Brigade clearing enemy positions. The Wagner mercenary group, which has spearheaded the fierce and bloody battle for the city, claimed control of Bakhmut earlier this month and began replacing its fighters with regular Russian troops. The Ukrainian military prevented them from doing this in every possible way, Both sides are preparing and strengthening further actions. Britain's Ministry of Defense said on Wednesday that since early May, Russia had been reacting to Ukraine's actions rather than actively advancing towards its own war goals. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on June 1 that Russia had lost 208,370 troops in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 460 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the past few days. Russia has yet to declare a definitive victory over the city of Bakhmut, despite pouring heavy resources into the months-long conflict and maintaining high casualty rates. Ukraine has also carried out several raids in recent weeks on Russian sites containing ammunition and supplies that Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces need for the war he launched in Ukraine more than 15 months ago. Recently, the Ukrainian Armed Forces finally liberated a key area east of Volyn in the south of the Donetsk region from Russian invaders. In a report on the last day of May, the domestic military expert and authoritative compiler of the Frontline map Deep State had this to say on his Telegram channel: north of Volodymyrivka, the enemy was knocked out of positions he had held for a long time. Meanwhile, as the think tank Institute for the Study of War said in Tuesday's assessment of the Ukraine war, Russia was very aggressive in launching drone strikes against Kyiv over the past weekend. However, the Ukrainian General Staff reported its air defenses shot down 29 of the 31 drones that Russia launched against Kyiv during the weekend raid. Another factor that might work against Putin's troops is that they can prepare for the highly anticipated counteroffensive that Ukraine is expected to launch. Although the military operation was initially expected to start in the spring, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has since said it may be delayed, while his military waits for additional weapons and supplies from its Western allies.